Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Launch Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John Anifer for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasubs.com. TDL discount code TDL for 25% off. All right, so we're continuing our camp battles. And we got an interesting one here. We got Jakorian Bennett versus Eric Stokes. I guess we could have did all three versus, Jakorian Bennett versus Eric Stokes versus Darren Porter. Could have did that. But we kept it a little more simple here because I think this is more of the battle here. I think Darren Porter is going to start, to be honest. This is my personal opinion. And I think him versus Eric Stokes, Jakorian Bennett, is going to be the battle. And we're going to see who wins that. So we're going to be talking about that today. And then really nothing else going on in Raiders land. Nothing really that I could think of. That's kind of a good thing. Nothing happened this week. Nothing controversial. No talks. No pictures. Just
no 7-on-7 tournaments or anything going on. Yeah. nothing for people to get mad at.
No trash talking. I don't like my quarterback to do that. I want my quarterback to do that on Sundays, not talking. There's just none of that. Those conversations happening right now. So we're just gonna be talking Jakorian Bennett and Eric Stokes today. Mostly. Yeah. All right. So, your thoughts on Eric Stokes? I did a video on him earlier. You got your chance to watch him, Matt. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So part of the reason why I wanted to do Stokes is, like you said, you'd done the breakdown after free agency on him, and both of us have done Darren Porter at this stage. So kind of figured on top of him probably going to be one of the starting cornerbacks no matter what. Figured we mix it up a little bit and just kind of dive into it from a different perspective. I think one of the biggest things with Stokes is like his straight line speed and like his coverage ability against like vertical routes and stuff like that when he's just kind of left on an island is pretty impressive. Like I don't think he's going to get beat deep much. And then I like him too, like in cover two and in a lot of the in zone coverage too, a lot too. Just because he's like pretty smart and like he does a good job of playing zone back to front and then kind of rallying and tackling and stuff like that after the catch. So I like him in that regard. Biggest issue is, and I think I remember you pointing this out when you did your breakdown of him initially, is the change of direction skills are pretty rough. Like that's the problem. Whereas like I feel like you can only really play him in cover 3 and cover 2 because if you start putting him in man coverage and if you start putting him in cover 4 too, especially with pattern match principles, which is basically man coverage, he's gonna get killed on dig routes all day. Like almost in all 3 games that I watched on him, like we'll see this a little bit too. Like he had at least 1 or 2 moments that he stumbled trying to make a cut, and there's like one where I think you went over the Rams game with him too, so we might have some repeat clips where he tried to cover a whip route and ate shit. And gave up a touchdown. Like we'll see that one too. So that's kind of where I get a little bit weary of him. Is like when I first watched it, I was watching more of his better games from last year. I'm like, this is actually a little bit better than I thought.
Yeah.
Then you kind of get into the issues. You go to the Rams game where you got benched after that, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, now I'm starting to see it a little bit, and now I see some of the issues. So that's kind of my concern with him moving forward is like if he's going to be the starter, like how do you hide his change of direction skills? And it's kind of like you kind of got to be a little bit more simple in your scheme, which obviously is an issue. Whereas a guy like Bennett and Porter, I have a little bit more confidence in them being able to figure it out and put it all together than Stokes, who's going into year 5 and kind of is what he is at this point. At least the other 2 guys are younger, and you have a little bit more hope with them going into the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's like Stokes is full of issues. Like that's what someone in press coverage, if the vertical routes and things like that, he has that covered up. I mean, and it's probably a little bit of the reason why he was able to have that big rookie season he had, because it's the way that they played defense that year. So you have to hide him. That's the problem, right? I mean, if you can't really like put him out there and be like, oh, just go stop it, somebody, you can do anything with him. Like, no, you have to play a certain coverage, get these certain things to really hide his deficiencies. Because if you don't do that, then he's going to be getting burned all the time, because he could run certain routes. Like a guy who can run really good routes, especially if he's in off coverage, he's done. Like there's nothing really he could do about it, because like he can't change directions that well. So if the guy gets him going one way and then goes the other way, he's going to take forever to catch that guy. He can't really change directions that way. Just the stiff hips and just the way he is athletically. Yeah, it's just not fit for like a full on starting NFL corner, in my opinion, long term. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the issue there with him, and that's always going to show up on film.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, 100%. I do think like there's one clip we have here of like him playing press and like he gets to play from a trail position, which he's actually pretty comfortable with because again, he knows he has help over the top in a worst case scenario, and he doesn't have to worry about getting beat on the change of direction. So that's I guess part of how you can help him out. But again, we're talking about having to help a guy that's a 5-year vet versus you have a bunch of young guys in the secondary just overall in general. So that's kind of the big concern with Stokes being out there if he's going to be starting this season.
I agree with that. So Jakorian Bennett, I went and watched some of his film and went back. I went over the Bengals, Rams, and the Ravens games. So with Bennett, I think Bennett is a very smart player. Like he's very smart. He understands zone really well. He communicates really well. He's really out of position. Like he does a good job of knowing when to play the flat or in cover two, or just to keep riding with somebody and give up the flat. He doesn't give up a lot of big plays in zone coverage, I would say. And I think in press coverage too, he does a pretty good job. I posted a clip on Twitter of him against Jamar Chase in press coverage. And he was doing a really good job. And a lot of his pass breakups that you see are in press coverage. And then even from the slot too, he doesn't play that bad when he has to play in the slot. It's with Jakorian Bennett. Like I think sometimes like double moves when he's in off coverage, they destroy him. Like they weren't thrown his way, but last year if they were, you'd be like, oh my God, we might be having a different conversation of how good he is. If some of those plays with his way and off coverage when he's kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen. Like he'll jump something way too early and then the guy's running bad behind him, but the ball didn't go his way. He's like, he's terrified, but Lamar Jackson's throwing somewhere else, or Matthew Stafford's throwing somewhere else. So it's a lot of things with that. And then, he probably could play in the slot, in my opinion. He just can't tackle, which I didn't really try to get too much into because we all know that. I'm not going to try to really get into it. I put a couple clips of his bad tackling at the end, but you can't play him in the slot on first and second down. On third and like 7, I could put him in the slot and feel very comfortable with him guarding somebody because I think he has a good change of direction skills. And some of the slot reps I'm going to put in here, he actually did a pretty good job. He got a pass breakup against the Rams from the slot. It's just you can't do that though on first and second down. So it would have to be like a specialty thing where like you play Jeremy Chin against like nickel teams, play Jeremy Chin on first and second down, and then you move Chin back to safety on third and longs, and you bring Jakorian Bennett in to play slot. That would be the ideal way of doing that. But then of course Eric Stokes has to play on third down if you do that, and kind of mixes a lot of other things. So that's why they might trust Darnay Holmes is to do that all together, which I just don't like that. But that's the only way that Jakorian Bennett could play the slot. But I still think he's a solid player. I think he's better than Eric Stokes, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's funny. I was going to ask you if you think Bennett can play the slot, because I kind of had the same thing, pretty much the exact same thing you said about him. Even when he was coming out of college, I'm like, man, this guy's quick enough to be able to cover in the slot. But like you mentioned, the tackling is the issue. That was part of the reason why he got benched as a rookie. If you guys remember, like he was missing a ton of tackles. Even last year was kind of bad too, where he was missing pretty often, which obviously gets highlighted a little bit more on those early downs when you're playing in the nickel spot. But I do think, like you said, like the more traditional nickel spot, if you will, where you actually like come off the bench, or unless he's starting on the outside and playing inside, could kind of fit him. Like you mentioned, it's just a matter of that you still got to figure out who's playing your other outside corner spot. But yeah, obviously that's a need too. But I appreciate it, and I like that you brought up the double moves last year that didn't get targeted, because it's funny. Like if you look at Jakorian Bennett's like stats on PFF, like the numbers, you're like, damn, that's like a lockdown, like number one corner. And then you look at his grade and it like doesn't match. And I remember thinking that last year, like, look, I know Bennett's like put up good numbers, but when you go back and watch like the all 22, like there were plenty of times where he was lucky he didn't get targeted because he was getting beat, and just for some reason wasn't get the ball going his way. That I think if you go back and like we try and figure out why is Jakorian Bennett not starting in OTAs on top of the injury, it's because there were times where he just got lucky the ball didn't come his way last year. And I'm sure Pete Carroll and John Spytek saw that on tape, and that's part of the reason why they made the decision right now to keep him with the twos, and why he's in a battle with Eric Stokes and not just handed the starting quarterback spot this year.
Yeah. I was pull up the stats real quick. Yeah, he had 8 missed tackles in I think he played like 8 games. He basically had missed tackle a game. But he did have 7 pass breakups. You know, unless you're talking about the stats are
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's like the Rams game, like he didn't give up a catch against the Rams. But did he get beat? Yes. That's the thing, like, right? Like he got beat a couple times.
Yeah.
But he didn't give up a catch. So it's like over 4. It's like he had 4 targets, no 0 receptions. What a game, right? Like, I don't
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? He did have a great stat line.
You know what I mean?
Were
So
some
like,
plays. Yeah.
Yeah. But in press coverage, though, he's really good, though. I think that he is just watching him against Jamar Chase was like, okay, that means you could play the NFL. You're doing so well against Jamar Chase, and I don't think Chase had a big game against the Raiders.
No.
Like he did really well against him, man. So like that really shows me that, you know, there's more to it, and like I could deal with some of the other stupid stuff, but like Eric Stokes, he's literally like you have to build a system to make him good. I don't think you have to do that with Jakorian Bennett. I think Jakorian Bennett's going to have some mishaps. He's not a perfect corner, but I don't have to change my whole system to make sure that I'm trying to hide Eric Stokes. I guess it's a difference.
Yeah, my playbook's not as limited, right? Like I was talking about with Eric Stokes. Like I really only trust Eric Stokes in 2 cover 2 and cover 3, again, because of his issues. And cover 3, you're still susceptible to getting beat by Diggs. So it's kind of like do we take the guy that might make his few, like, you know, do we take the young guy that's going to make a few mental mistakes, but has the higher ceiling and can fit more? Or do we try and work around the older veteran who we trust to be in the right spot more often, but it's just going to get beat naturally? We're going to have to live with him getting beat a couple times a game. So,
Yeah.
Or more.
Exactly. All right. Let's start with Jakorian Bennett here. All right. So Jakorian Bennett. So we start with him in off coverage and just kind of a lot of his zone reps. So this is what I'm talking about, his communication here, right? And like not like having great zone eyes. Okay. So I mean, this is a great concept by Sean McVay, having this guy come through the middle, run a seam right through right to the C gap right there, bro. That's a great concept. But he doesn't fool Jakorian Bennett, right? So because what Sean McVay's trying to do here is trying to get this corner to bite here, right? And then you get a one-on-one with the safety, or if the safety comes down like Trayvon Moorick does, is that you have Bennett with his eyes on this tight end that just leaves this dude wide open, right? But Bennett's a good job of seeing that, right? And he sticks with it and gives up this little flat route, and the guy gets a pretty good gain, but it's better than a touchdown, right? And you could say Trayvon Moorick could have played this a whole lot better, right? And had a better angle to get this tackle instead of just trying to, I don't know what he's doing here, instead of just running up and making a tackle here, and could have stopped that a little bit earlier instead of this becoming such a big play. So that's not on Jakorian Bennett. I think Jakorian Bennett did a great job here of seeing this. Like that is what I really like about him, is seeing this play right here. All right, here's another one in zone here. So this one I'm talking about, like him, you know, knowing I'm not going to be covering grass, playing cover 2. I'm going to keep fading downfield. Basically, it's kind of this little, kind of the Bill technique kind of look here. Coming up, and then, you know, like I said, he's not the greatest tackler here, but I like this, playing the zone, allow the flat to come, and you usually see he's not the greatest tackler because, you know, the guy, he doesn't wrap up or anything, and the guy still gets 9 yards. But this is still great zone play. This is how you want to play cover 2. It's an awesome. It's not great from the tackling perspective, but it's a great rep from, you know, how you want to play. You don't let anything happen deep, right? You don't bite on anything. Keep everything underneath you. Make a tackle.
Yeah, that's one thing that worries me about Jakorian, is he's not the biggest dude in the world, and like that tackles, like, I mean, it's not great, but like that's what's going to kind of lead, or that's going to lead to extra yards when he goes up and tackles those bigger receivers and tight ends.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, here's another great example. Now, this is an off coverage where he doesn't get beat by the double move, but you see that he does a good job of squeezing this guy to the sideline.
Yeah. So
he gets a little Bell technique, right? And what happens is, I think he does a good job. This is where you see the athleticism and the flipping of hips. It's like, this is the difference between him and Eric Stokes, right? He's able to flip his hips quickly. Look how quick he gets around there, right? That he finds him, right? I kind of wish that he'd get his head around here, since he already found the guy. He doesn't have to play through the hands here, in my opinion. Because he found the guy right here. This is when you're in this position as a corner, you want to be able to get your eyes around, right? Like, you're not chasing, so get your eyes around. This is where you can play the ball, instead of playing the ball right there. But like he does a good job of squeezing the sideline, forcing Stafford basically to throw this ball perfectly. I mean, it's a great throw from Stafford. I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, he threw it out of bounds, but like it's the only
Yeah.
where the guy could get it. It's an awesome throw. But Jakorian Bennett does a good job of squeezing the sideline, and that's how you want to play this though. But I want him to get his eyes around. You kind of get to see that in another play against the Ravens too. All right, so here he is against Jamar Chase. Now this time he's going to have some help over the top here from Palomar. Palomar is going to, of course, I mean, you want to play. This is the NFL. We're playing stop Jamar Chase cover 3, right? So
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, right? But you see in press coverage, he knows he's playing underneath here, right? So right, so since he knows I got help over the top, but he does a good job here of just kind of staying with Jamar Chase, because this ended up being cover 2, my bad guys, because it's just such a deep drop.
They rolled to it weird.
Yeah, right. But this is what I'm talking about. Like this is still Jamar Chase cover 2, because usually you play cover 2, you don't go this deep, right? These guys don't go this deep. But he's like, that's Jamar Chase. I have to go this deep and then force this ball underneath, right? That's what you want to do, and that's a great job. And that's what I mean by like how good he is in zone. He understands. He's a smart zone guy. Like a lot of guys would just stay right here. They would give this throw up, force Palomar to have to come up and try to guard Jamar Chase. He's like, nah, I'm going to force his underneath throw. And then we come up and make a tackle here. Right, you got some help from Warwick there. But this is third down too. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is third down. This is force the field goal. This is what you
It's a nice close from distance too. I mean, he's like 20 yards away when tight end catches the ball and makes that tackle short of the sticks.
All right. So here's another good zone rep here too. So they kind of switch to cover 2 again after showing middle of the field closed here, because switch to middle of the field open. And then what I like about this one too, like I said, he's trying to stop this little corner route, but he also has his eyes on Jamar Chase here. He's able to drive right here, and of course, like you said earlier, man, he's not the strongest guy. So Jamar Chase is a pretty strong dude, but he's a good job of kind of just holding on for dear life and making that tackle. Right, and kind of preventing a touchdown here.
Hold them up until someone else can come finish it.
Yeah, right. So here's another off coverage rep here, which I just want to show off the hips, right? The kind of the difference between him and Stokes here. He's in the bail technique here, right? And this player's going to be running an out route, but you kind of see the change of direction ability, right? Like, even if Burrow is throwing this on time, like he has a chance. I mean, he kind of stumbles a little bit, but he still has a chance to maybe drive on this football, make a play on it a little bit. You kind of just see the change of direction there. Because you can see Max Crosby chasing down Joe Burrow. But these are what I was talking about, some of the issues with him in off coverage too, though. Like, you see him hit his back pedal. You see him, he's already driving on this ball. You're going to get basically out and up from Rashad Bateman. And this ball doesn't go to him, but like, he's already spinning around here. Right. And then they're like, who? It's just not a good thing. And, of course, Derrick Henry gets a bunch of yards from the missed tackle from Diablo. But just imagine if Lamar Jackson is just sticking with that, because he kind of comes off it pretty early. So I think he wants to come here. But if he stuck with it, man, oh my God, it's touchdown.
Yeah, I remember watching that play specifically and thinking why Lamar came off that, but I was happy he did.
Yeah, I know, right? And what do you say, Matt?
I was just gonna say, I guess they still got the first, but still,
you know what I mean? Not a touchdown.
Yeah.
All right. So in this one, basically man coverage here. That's why Moreg comes down here, right, on this motion. So you can kind of say this is kind of slot rep, but this is kind of the same thing where, it's out and up, and he starts driving on the football. And I don't know, because he's had his eyes on the quarterback, and that's why he loses this. But he's lucky Stafford threw it somewhere else, or he got sacked actually, but he got smacked in the face by Max Crosby. He's very lucky here, I think, because this is this type of thing. This is a great route. He's going upfield, I mean, right? He's getting beaten. He's getting run past. So there's a little bit of instances in off coverage that can have some problems. So here's a couple reps of him in the slot. Like I said, that you can say that previous rep is in the slot too, but Here's one, which this is what I'm talking about. Him just being a smart player. Like as soon as they get over here, they're in a stack formation here. So or a bunch formation. So what happens is he's going to end up taking Tutu Atwell, right? Because they end up switching here, right? That's what I talk about, the just intelligence. He's never wrong here usually. And he does a good job here, and then he comes underneath that ball and breaks it up.
Use the hands too.
Yeah. All right, boom. Knock that ball down. It's a great rep right there. And this is what I'm talking about. Like he could play in the slot on third down. You just don't want him, having to take on the guard.
Yeah. That's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah. And of course, here's another play in the slot too. This is a slot play. I mean, this is another play of communication, right? Because you see him communicate to Jack Jones. You got to take the outside guy. I got the inside, right? This is what I'm talking about, him being intelligent. This is intelligence. This is why he started as a rookie. I mean, he picked up what Patrick Graham wanted him to do really quickly. So he has intelligence down, and then he does a good job of driving on this football, knocking the ball out, getting that interception for Robert Spillane. This is a big play in that Raiders game. Huge play.
Yeah. Probably the best play of Jakorian's career right there.
Yeah.
This is short
play right there. Yeah. Great play. Good job. You can even see him get square here, like in plays of the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great play. All right, and here's another rep of him playing press coverage in the slot against Jamar Chase here. And what I like about this one is, like I said, we're playing Jamar Chase cover one. So
let's be real, that's cover 0 with a double team.
Exactly. Right. So, but he's, you know what I'm saying? Like he does a good job of like staying square, understanding that he has help inside. So I got the outside, he got the inside. It kind of, makes Joe Burrow have to move. And of course, Trayvon Moore gets beat here, and Joe Burrow does a good job of moving in the pocket and finding Gesicki there. I think it was Gesicki, for touchdown. But Jakorian Bennett did his job, man.
Yeah. Perfect vice on Chase.
Yeah. All right. So, and here's some more reps of him in press coverage here. Like I said, he does a great job of staying square, right? Doesn't open the gate too early because he knows he runs a 4-3. Right here, he doesn't run a 4-3, right?
Yeah, he was 4-3.
Yeah, you could tell. And then, what I like about this one, you could tell that he does have a good job. You can see the change of direction that he has because he's able to make the stop with this hitch route. So he's able to play it, trust the speed, he's right there on it. Like he's not open at all, right? If Joe Burrow wanted to throw this ball, he might throw an interception or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a great rep right there. All right, here's another one against Jamar Chase here. Same thing. Press coverage. Like I said, staying square there. Doesn't open the gate too early. Trust his speed. This is a great rep. It's a great press coverage rep right there at the bottom there. See what's fine. It's a great rep right there, man. And like so they neutralized Jamar Chase in this game, man. It was a pretty damn good job. Here's another rep here in press coverage. Said staying square perfectly right there. Like, he's even protected from the back shoulder there. He basically squeezes this wide receiver right here, squeezes the space there. Of course, who you don't want to play slot, Darnay Holmes gets beat here by Mike Gesicki. But it's a great rep by Jakorian Bennett right there. And here's the rep I was talking about earlier, where he knows he's playing underneath the coverage, right?
Yeah.
What's the term for that? I can't think of that damn term right now.
What are you talking about?
When they play underneath it with the safety at the top.
I'm drawing a blank too. Vicing it or clamping it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think vicing it's the term.
Yeah. So he does a good job right there, just kind of being all over him right there, right? Jamar Chase wants to hold, give me out, hold me, but that's just this is what he does best, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then this is kind of like a big rep from the Ravens game here, which he does a good job of, like I said, this time finding the football, right? But he does a good job of just ripping that ball out at the end there too. You see it right there from Aguilar, just ripping that. Boom, rips the ball out right there. Great job. Stops the
Got
touchdown.
his head around on that one too. I know you're talking
Yeah,
about that earlier, but like this one, you can see him look for the ball, locate it in the air right now.
yeah. That was a nice little veteran push off from Aguilar though, at the end. You can see it. A little, that's called a vet. That's a veteran push off there, guys. Now I'll just show him his problem with tackling just a little bit. Like this one, this one's kind of funny. Like this is, like, I don't just an awful angle, right? I mean, this doesn't go down as a missed tackle, but to me, that's a missed tackle.
That's
And
what
then,
worries me is go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that's what worries me is like it's not just like a tackling issue. He's also takes pretty bad angles.
Yeah, and then here's the biggest tackling issue. Like it's him and Jamar Chase here, and like he just like he doesn't want it. Like you know what I mean? Like this is like
Yeah.
a high school coach who wants it more. It's not Jakorian Bennett does not want it more. He does not. He doesn't want that smoke, as we would say. So yeah, but that's Jakorian Bennett, man. I think like I would feel better with him playing as a starter, in my opinion. Like even with the tackling issues, that I know Stokes can tackle better than him. That's
Yeah.
gonna be, and I hope that's not the determining factor. I mean, I know Pete Carroll loves his corners to tackle. I know that it's a huge thing for him. But and when you're playing zone and you got to come up and you're giving things underneath, it is important. I get that, but like you just can't play that way every single down. And I think you just have to simplify the system a little bit more. And I think he can handle more complex coverages, as you can see with him communicating, knowing like, okay, yeah, we're playing man to man, but since I can't get all the way outside, Jack Jones, you take him, right? You take him, Jack, right? And then they kind of switch. There's those communication things that I really like from Jakorian Bennett more than like really anything else, because I think that his intelligence is something that you need out there. And for him being that intelligent, that young, that means going into year 3, he's going to have even more intelligence being in the same system for 3 years. So, yeah, he has a great understanding of the system more than Eric Stokes. So that might be a benefit eventually over time, even though, because usually in OTAs, it's usually the veteran is over the starter most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I don't expect to see Lonnie Johnson out there. I just don't believe it. You can't push that to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, it might happen. But yeah.
No, I think with Jakorian Bennett, like the tackling issues, the best way to overcome tackling issues at the corner is to not give up a completion. At the end of the day, I think Jakorian has a better chance of being like a shutdown guy than a guy like Eric Stokes does. Like you showed, I think his coverage skills are a lot better. The biggest difference is I do think Stokes is a better tackler, like you mentioned. But that being said, like Stokes, like he's definitely more willing than Jakorian Bennett is, but he's not like a force out there that's like knocking guys backwards or anything like that. He's just better at getting guys to the ground.
Yeah,
where they're at. So, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get some Eric Stokes, man.
Sounds good. All right. You got me up there?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I'm going to start with a few good reps of Stokes and press coverage. It's going to be pretty similar to what we were just seeing with Bennett. And I think we'll get a few repeat clips from Marcus's breakdown during free agency. But you'll see on this one, going up against JSN here. So some pretty good competition. And he just does a great job of staying square. And then once JSN commits to the inside, now he gets his hands on and starts riding them and then staying on him on this, I don't even know what route JSN's looking at or ends up running. Like you can see, I'll back this up a little bit. Like Gino's looking to go to that side of the field, whether or not he's going to hit DK here in the slot on the out or JSN on the dig or whatever route he's running here. That's where Gino wants to go. But part of it is with the good press coverage rep from Stokes, pass rush has plenty of time to get there and ends up being a sack. So good example of how Stokes can be good in press coverage, and when the pass rush hits, it marries up pretty well. Up against the goal line here against, I think that's Jordan Whittingham from the Rams. So not exactly their elite receiver, but again, same kind of thing. Like he does a pretty good job of getting physical. Now you might say it kind of looks like Whittingham might be looking just to pick the linebacker here and not running a legit like out route. But at the very least, with Stokes getting his hands on and having a good rep and press coverage, he keeps the wide receiver away from the linebacker and helps take that, who is able to take away that running back. Yeah. And Stafford just has to throw it out of the back of the end zone. I think this next one's more soft shoe. I guess no, still a little bit more press coverage, but more soft shoe play. Again, this is what I was talking about too, where he's got safety help over the top with I think that McKinney looks like maybe favoring that side even in the cover one look, and he's playing from a trail technique, and this is exactly playing into Stokes' hand, right? Like I talked about, it's got 4.3 speed as well, but the change of direction is the issue. He does a pretty good job here too of not biting on that little jab step from the wide receiver, and then just staying in his trail position and getting attached to the hip, turning for the ball, and it ends up falling incomplete.
Yeah. That's the term I was looking for, Matt. Trail technique.
Trail. Okay, gotcha. My fault. I thought you were talking about the safety. And I should have known that. It's on me. That's on me. Next one, again, more soft shoe here from Stokes. Again, the Rams kind of played into his hand, especially early in the game. I remember when you broke this down earlier, you said in the fourth quarter they just started peppering with targets, and it was on a lot of dig routes. But when you run these little short drag routes where there's no like change of direction involved, again, that just plays into his hand where he can use the speed to kind of stay in phase. He's playing from behind the receiver a little bit here, but he's in a perfect position to just rip hands at the catch point and ends up breaking up that pass.
Yeah, he got targeted a lot in that Rams game in that fourth quarter. I remember that.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember you talking about it, and I remember thinking the same thing, like, where are these targets going to come from? And then they all came in a flurry. Moving on a little bit to him playing off coverage. One thing he does a pretty good job of, this is what I was talking about before, is when he does play off coverage, like he is pretty good at staying on top of routes. He doesn't really bite on double moves or anything like that. This one isn't a double move. We'll see a few more examples of those later. But what he does a good job here going up against Fant is he's good. He can overcome some of his issues with his hips and his change of direction when he can get to square like this, and he has enough space and time to be able to do that. So this is what I'm talking about, where like him in cover 2 or even cover 3, where he's got like some room between him and the receiver, where he can maybe overcome it to a certain extent. And then again, he just stays attached here, uses his hands, gets a little physical on the scramble drill to make sure that pass falls incomplete. This one is going to be a double move, a little out and up here from the Saints receiver. Again, like just a much better job of staying square. Like you can even see it here on his back pedal. Stay square. Okay, now you commit to the outside. Now I open my hips, and now you're just running with me, and you're not running past me because I'm too fast for you. So I guess that is a little bit of the optimism with Stokes is when he's not having to cover these sharp cutting routes, and he can play off coverage. It's gonna be a little cover 2, similar to what you're showing with Jakorian Bennett earlier. A little switch release here from DK and the slot receiver. Picks up on it perfectly. And again, this is what I was saying before earlier, where like he's a veteran. Like he recognizes, he goes, okay, I have 3 threats to my side of the field: the running back, slot receiver, and then the outside receiver. Recognizes the switch release, like I was talking about earlier, and he's also going to see the running back go to the other side of the formation. So once he recognizes that, he realizes, okay, nothing's keeping me in the flat, so I'm not going to cover grass. I'm going to stay deep and take this away and stay on top of this receiver. And they got Sam Howell in the game. I think Geno went out early. And Howell throws it deep anyway, which, again, I mean, the receiver's right on this one. I don't know what Howell's reading. But
I have no idea.
The reason why that happens, the reason why that miscommunication happens is because Stokes does a good job of staying on top of the route. Again, being a football player, not just covering grass. Similar type of rep here. Again, just squeezing towards the sideline, more cover 2. And I'll keep reiterating this, like even with the shorter route here from Lockett, or shorter route initially, because it looks like I think Lockett's going to do a short little out and up. Like he stays deep and he's able to stay on top of the route.
Yeah,
I can't see. Yeah, and this is like what, 1st and 10 here. So good job, and then pass rush ends up hitting home. A good sack on Howell. This gets in more to his tackling skills after the catch. Again, I think this is 1st down, maybe 2nd and long, something like that. But again, same kind of thing. Just plays it deep. All right, ball's out. Now we rally and tackle, make a nice little tackle. This is what I'm talking about too. Like, again, I don't think Stokes is going to be a force to knock JSN backwards. Or anything like that. But he's at least going to bring the guy to the ground pretty consistently.
Yeah, he's just a better tackler from that perspective.
For sure. This one's going to be 3rd and long. And again, same kind of thing that I was talking about earlier. third and long. So the worst thing that can happen in the world is we give up a deep bomb to a deep shot to DK. I mean, I think this is like 3rd and 25. It's 3rd and forever, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to stay deep, understand the situation, know the situation, or play situational football, and then just come up and make a tackle. Even that tackle's not the greatest, but at the very least, we're getting up there and making contact with the running back. Let the cavalry, or let my teammates come help me out.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. This was actually probably one of his better tackles. As soon as I say he can't knock anybody backwards, here's a clip of him knocking someone backwards.
Not going to tight end backwards? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, this one I think looks like maybe cover 3 cover 3. It looks like maybe cover 2 or cover 6. Again, just rallying to the ball, come up, make a nice form tackle. That time, limit the yak and knock the guy backwards. That was rare though.
Yeah.
Another 3rd and long situation. Again, stays deep to prevent giving up the first down. And then once Rattler checks it down on this little smash concept, come up, make the play, save the linebacker's ass. I mean, linebacker misses the tackle, and he's there to force the punt.
Yeah, he's an effective tackler.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this one, the Saints end up getting the first down, but I mean, I like this one more than anything just because he comes off his man and ends up making the tackle or getting involved in it. You can see a little bit of his change of direction here, issues here too. Like, does give up some separation on that short curl route. Like Rattler probably could have gone to his guy there, but it doesn't, and ends up making a nice play. One more time, I think. Yeah, same type of thing. Just staying deep, come up and make that play on 3rd and long. Yeah. That's the one thing I do appreciate about him a lot is he's really good at knowing the situation and playing situational football.
Yeah.
We got 2 threats that could potentially get the first down here. If they throw the check down, we'll take that and we'll just rally.
Take a tackle.
Ends up playing it perfectly. Well done. Now getting into the issues. This first clip is going to serve as a little precursor for what we're going to see for the rest of the way. Like, he doesn't get targeted. But you see him on DK. And this is part of me wonders if he freaks out when he's going up against a better caliber receiver, because that's DK obviously best receiver the Seahawks had last year.
Yeah. And
compare this one to the one against JSN or anything where he did a much better job of keeping his hips square, whereas you can see here he's already opening and I don't know, maybe not trust his speed against DK, who also runs a 4.3 or something like that. And then it kind of his hips lock on him on top of not having the change of direction. I mean, if How's in the game? Yeah, How's in the game at this point. Granted, Howell didn't have a ton of time, but that throw's open. That's open in the NFL. Next one against, I think, Atwell. No, not quite. Oh no, this is one where I was talking about. Yeah, every game he had at least one of these, sometimes 2. We're like, okay, this one's not the worst thing in the world because it only ends up being like a 5-yard gain or whatever on second and ended up being a 7-yard gain. But you can see just the stumble trying to change directions. This is kind of more than anything just an example of how his change of direction isn't good. And on top of it, the tackle isn't good. This is what I was talking about earlier, where he ends up giving up what should be, if we get the guy down here, what is that? 3rd and 9 ends up being 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, which that'll piss you off as a defensive coordinator because now it shortens the playbook or makes you have to defend more concept from the offense. Again,
you slip it again, try to
same thing. I know this is the same game we just watched, but that's what I'm talking about. Getting in and out of his breaks are a challenge. And he's not even at full speed there.
Yeah, you don't want to be falling down and you're trying to transition like that.
It's the same kind of thing. If he has a clean transition, I'm not saying he prevents the completion, but maybe we make the tackle at the 30 instead of giving them 2nd and 1.
Yep.
Around midfield. So, this is one where I think he gets beat by, gets beat by Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, another one doesn't get targeted here, but same thing. I mean, this one, I don't even know what the deal is because, again, he just doesn't stay square. I don't know why. He changed it up. Maybe because it's covered 3 in this time and he wants to force him inside, but
Yeah.
when you're not good at changing direction, I think he just kind of guesses wrong. He just feels like he's going to get a vertical route, so he starts to open up the hips, and he's cooked. Pass rush doesn't get there. That's a first down and maybe more.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, Stafford's probably throwing it at who's wide open, but either way. This is the rep. This is the one where he like gets his whole ankles broken. I remember this one.
Oh yeah. This isn't even the worst one, but Whitting, and again, this is Jordan Whittingham. This is not exactly Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua out here for the Rams. This is their 4th, 5th receiver on the roster, maybe 6th. Yeah. Again, I don't know. Maybe they just started changing his technique in the second half of the season. But yeah, this little side, when he goes into that side settle technique, especially when covered 3, it just doesn't work for him because he can't open. Yeah, he can't sink his hips and then open it up and to cover this out route, as you can see, and gets beat.
Yeah.
I mean, this one he's playing off, but like you can still see the stumble, and I feel like that kind of leads to the extra yak here. Yeah. Again, I think Whittingham catches this ball no matter what, but like, just watch Stokes here as he gets out in and out of the cut. Like just how rounded.
Yeah,
it's not
awful transition.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of being like here and now coming straight down, like he kind of has to round it, and then that gives Whittingham like more time to get to the inside, and just throws off his entire angle, if you will, to be able to make the play.
Ooh. This is what I said. One guy was guarding Jabbar Chase, one guy's getting cooked by Jordan Whittingham. I don't know. You guys decide.
Exactly. That is the one way to put it, and one way to look at it. Yeah. I mean,
because just what I'm saying, Jordan Whittingham was cooking him. Look like, keep going, man. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're this is again against Jordan Whittingham. So what you're about to say fits perfectly. I mean, if Evan Williams isn't there as the robber, like again, this is probably another touchdown. But Williams honestly saves Stokes' ass because he almost prevented that completion. But this is just, I mean, there's too much separation. I can't play you in man coverage if you're going to get beat this bad by a guy that's probably entering training camp fighting for a roster spot.
Oh yeah, Robinson really. I remember this one. Oh man.
Yeah. We're going to end with the last one. This is what I was talking about.
Like, you can't have your corner on the ground that much. I'm sorry.
Slipped 3 times this game, and just the clips I'm showing. So, and trust me, it was at Seattle too, and at home at Green Bay and New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cartoon fall. Like,
yeah, maybe like that is just cooked. All right, so yeah, that's Eric Stokes. Yeah. So Matt, go ahead, get your thoughts, man. Sorry.
I mean, just like what I said in the intro, like you just have to like what you have to do with Stokes is you have to call your defense around him, and like just watching those 2 guys, like especially if Bennett's already got the football IQ and does the stuff like where he doesn't, he plays zone back to front versus and that's part of Stokes' competitive advantage too. Like that just kind of takes it away. Like it comes out to being a wash. Like I just don't see why you don't give the younger player who has more talent the opportunity to start this year. But I don't know. We'll see how stubborn Pete Carroll is with those size thresholds, because Jakorian Bennett is just under it a little bit at 5'11", so an inch under the height threshold, and like just 31, I think like 7/8 inches, so an inch under the 32 mark for that Carroll likes to like, whereas Stokes fits right in there at like 6'1" with 32 something arms. So, but it's tough. Like you're gonna have to give Stokes some help, which means that your rookie cornerback, your rookie 3rd round pick who's starting on the other side is going to be left on an island. I don't think that's a winning combination. I think the way you want to do it is you want to give the guy that you can at least trust to cover him, cover people a little bit more.
Yeah, that's my worry. It's just like the slipping and the not being able to change directions and like getting cooked by Jordan Whittingham. I mean, it's just not a good look. You know what I mean? Like you just don't want that guy just cooking you, and then you can't even go with Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson's cooking
Yeah.
you. Like every like these normal guys that wouldn't start on the Bengals that we were watching. Like I said, they would start at the Bengals, and they're not even starters on the Rams of that game. Like Cup and Nakua was out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, these are like guys who are playing in the preseason. Like these are preseason players, right, for the most part. And you don't see Jordan Whittingham play after that when those guys came back. And when they get to the playoffs, you don't hear Jordan Whittingham. You might still hear DeMarcus Robinson, of course, but you're not going to hear about Jordan Whittingham anymore. You know what I mean? So like, when you get cooked by those guys, that's what makes me super worried about your overall outlook as a player. So you know what I mean?
I mean, to piggyback off that, like if you just said like a guy got benched after playing the Rams without Puka Nacua and without Cooper Kupp, like that's usually not a good sign.
Yeah.
When the other team didn't have their top two receivers and you still got cooked and your previous team just didn't trust you. I mean, Keeson Nixon, to put it in perspective, former Raider Keeson Nixon, who was a special teams guy and a nickel corner occasionally for the Raiders, and that's what he was when he began with the Packers, and he's developed into a pretty good player. But Keeson Nixon, they just said they had enough with Eric Stokes and started putting Keeson on the outside for the rest of the year, just to paint the picture for you guys. So that's my worry with Stokes. Again, it was better tape than I thought going into it. I do think he does well. I don't mean to trash him too much. Again, I showed a handful of clips of him playing pretty well against deep routes and stuff like that and whatnot. But it's the underneath stuff and everything else that kind of gives you a lot of concern and a lot of pause with him.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so that is our camp battle, Jakorian Bennett versus Eric Stokes. So make sure you guys, hope you guys enjoyed this, and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. We're gonna keep going with the camp battles here, and then get ready for training camp. It's gonna be honest quickly, man. We're about 2 weeks away, I think, right? Like 2 or 3 weeks away from training camp, and then then it's football. Oh, we're gone, guys. We're going. We're all football. We're here. You know what I'm saying? It is going. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get all the members videos and stuff. So it's gonna be happening here, guys. So just revving up. It's July. We're getting ready, and we'll be back with some more camp battles on probably Wednesday. So So be ready for that, guys. And then also, if you're watching this today, you're gonna see the radio interview I did with. If you're watching this Monday, you'll see the radio interview from Sunday on the channel. So check that out. That's about it. Any other last thoughts, man? Before we get out of here, we're good.
Not much, man. Like I said, let's hope Jakorian can get over that shoulder injury and figure things out earlier. What I'll say is even if he's gonna if he plays in the slot, if he plays outside, then tackling's got to improve no matter what. So hopefully he's working on that regardless of what position they told me he's gonna be playing.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're out of here. Peace.